Women are ultimately the ones responsible for any babies that come out of their womb. And so for all these women that are talking about, oh, I'm a single mom and I dated a guy, but he really wasn't long-term material, but I had a baby with him anyway, like that is ultimately her fault. And even if she got with a dusty or a guy that she knew wasn't gonna be no good, the fact that she, of her own accord, allowed a guy to finish inside of her and they didn't wear protection and she ended up having his kid, that is mostly her fault. By the way, guys, stay tuned for the end of this video. I'm going to talk more in depth about my upcoming launch of the Introvert Dating Success Academy on November 1st. You can join the waitlist for that at the website. Again, more details at the end of this video. Now, why am I telling you this on a man's channel where I talk to guys about dating? Well, men, as much as these days a lot of women are bearing the responsibility of them getting pregnant on a dude, again, the reality is that she of her own accord could have said, I need to take birth control. She could have said, hey dude, wear a freaking condom. Because most of us will be like, so I don't want to wear a condom, but if I can still hook up with you by wearing one, then I'll wear one. Like women, it's this weird dichotomy these days of like, women want to say, they're independent and they can make their own decisions, but then they want to lay blame for certain decisions like getting pregnant by a guy on the guy when they're the ones that have the womb. They're the ones and we're not talking about men that are doing forced entry or other forcible ways of getting inside the barrier to entry, okay? We're gonna assume those guys are trash guys and put them to the side, right? But for the women out there that are dating just regular dudes that are just like, we wanna hook up, most dudes are gonna probably try to be like, I don't wanna wear something. Again, the woman can say, you should wear something, or I'll take birth control, or do anything she can to block her own barrier. So if she's not doing that, that's on her. But I bring this up to you, guy, because I think there's an interesting psychology that goes on with this stuff, all right? And I think it's this, is that because ultimately women are looking at men to be the leader of the relationship, then what that means is that in their head, they're willing to go along with any plan that you set forth in a variety of areas in life, including stuff in the bedroom. So this is just a guess to women. If you guys are both in the bedroom and you say, well, I don't want to wear protection, her head, she's thinking, well, again, subconsciously, he's the man, he's gonna be the leader. And so he must obviously be fine with that. And he must know that he can't get me pregnant, or he'll know somehow to not be able to get me pregnant, even if he doesn't wear a condom. So I'll go ahead with it. And also, let's just be real. Let's be 100% guys, right? Hooking up without protection feels great. It feels good to the man because he can feel, the slipping and sliding in and out. And for the women, because I know women get on birth control and they can gain weight, they can get moody, they can get dry down there. And so admittedly, not wearing protection feels great to both parties. But as the man in this situation, who is going to be blamed if this woman gets pregnant, even though again, she's the one deciding what the barrier to entry is and if you need to be wearing a barrier or not, because that's gonna be put upon you. You have to recognize and be aware that this is gonna be part of the decisions as a potential leader of the relationship that you're going to have to make. Now, I also wanna stress that realistically, guy, there's a whole narrative in the dating sphere these days about single moms. Heck, I've done a few shows about single moms and why of given the option between a single mom and another woman that has the same statistics but just doesn't have kids, you should go with one that doesn't have kids because kids are baggage. That is true. Well, I've also done a show talking about how single dads can also be baggage. In the sense that I think because women have more maternal instincts, they're more apt to be willing to date a guy that has kids. But again, that's not all women. And there's a good segment of the population of women that aren't gonna wanna date a guy that has 1 kid, 2 kids, 3 kids, has a sketchy baby mommy in the background, or one that's gonna make things difficult. Like realistically, regardless of who's having a kid, kids bring about baggage, all right? But here's the important thing, right? Is that your actions are going to have consequences. And so when you go out into the world and you're not wearing protection and you're getting these women pregnant, let's say you're a guy that you have a average job, you're not making a really high salary or whatever like that. Well, understand that you're affecting these women in a lot of ways. For one, you're affecting them financially because if you cannot actually afford to take care of a kid, you should not be making them. Like bare bones bottom line. Like it's not fair. And again, we're going to already say the woman can ultimately decide whether or not she allows you to finish inside of her. But we also know that, accidents happen. You can wear protection. Condom breaks. She's taking birth control and then she gets sick and the birth control stops working. Like these things can also happen. All right. So, but we're going to assume the majority of the time, like people are just doing it and they just said, screw it, whatever happens, happens. And then the thing happens and it's like, oh my God. So like, yeah, financially, if you can't take care of a kid, then you're not ready to be having unprotected sex of any kind. Like real talk, because it's not going to be fair to put her and your now future child in a position where they can't be taken care of in a financial way, because kids need cost doctor's appointments, medicines, schooling, all this other stuff. And it's not fair for you to help a woman have a kid and then be like, well, I'm out, But also, you got to put into the emotional factor. Most women, if they're with you long enough to where they're actually willing to not use protection and be like, well, whatever happens, happens, that's usually the point for most women where they already feel so much love and care and kindness for you that they're already starting to make assumptions that you two are going to be together in the future. So what that means is she's allowing it to happen because she's thinking, well, we're already together and I really want to solidify our love, and maybe having this baby is going to prove to him once and for all that I really want to be with him long term, because I wouldn't just carry the seed of any man. And I hope that he knows that. So the fact that I'm allowing this to happen, it's because I'm feeling as though it's the thing that we both want, and it's going to keep us together because we're already going that pathway anyway. And that's an assumption that women need to have discussions about. Because I've had discussions with women where they'll be like, I want to have a kid with this guy, this and that. And I'll be like, but what about marriage? And they're like, well, we're eventually going to get this and that. And I try to tell women, I stress, until you get a ring on your finger, until there's paperwork that has been actively signed, the guy can jump ship at any time. And there are plenty of dudes that get cold feet, day of the wedding, they bounce. But thank God the woman didn't have a kid, right? But what if they did have a kid? Now he's bouncing, but you still got to be in the kid's life. You still got to be in the woman's life. But meanwhile, this woman had all this trust and faith that you were going to be the guy that she was going to be with in a long-term relationship, which is the only reason that she got pregnant by you, and then you bolted. And that's going to leave her emotionally scarred. And that's why there's a lot of, again, stuff on YouTube and stuff where you'll see guys be like, yeah, my baby mom's this and that. She's just so unreasonable, blah, 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 blah. But she has anger and resentment. She made the assumption that you were going to be there all the time. And there probably was a point where you guys were using protection. And then let's be real, guys. We're very good at telling women, hey, you know what? Like, this feels weird, or, well, I don't really want it, blah, 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 blah. And it's not that we're going to force them to allow us to take the protection off, but realistically, women are emotional. We know that if we complain a couple of times about this protection feels weird, that they're probably going to acquiesce and be like, well, he does like me, and, I guess it wouldn't be so bad, blah, 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 blah. And that's the game. That's the side of the game that women got to be taught about, that guys knowingly know that they can talk her and convince her into not wearing protection, okay? But you don't be that guy, because again, you don't want to have any financial responsibility, and you don't want to cause the emotional damage of another person. Like, that's not ultimately fair to the woman. And again, while I do stress that at the end of the day, women need to be more mindful of just letting a guy, finish inside them when there's not paperwork signed yet, when there's no, any kind of official commitment. If there's no official commitment, ladies, you shouldn't be letting these dudes get up inside you and finish off without protection. Because then if you have a kid, again, as sorry as I feel for your situation, you still let the stuff happen. But guys, on your end of things, just do it. Just wear protection. If in the event you start feeling closer to this woman, you're like, oh, I think we're going to be together long term, blah, 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 blah. That's fantastic. Get a ring or keep wearing that stuff, because you don't want to, again, financially and emotionally ruin her. And then also just for your own sake. Like, realistically, because if you do that stuff and the woman's like really mad and has a vendetta against you, she's going to drive you crazy. And for all the dudes we see about, they're in court fighting for, custody rights and to see their kids and yada, yada, yada. And I do believe that men should have a fair chance at being able to see the kids that they helped create. But you got to recognize where all that vitriol comes from. It's from the fact that in her head, she felt you were promising something and that you were giving indicators that there was a stronger commitment here than you ended up giving. And so while I don't think it's fair for you to now get this treatment, the reality is you kind of set yourself up for that. And as you trying to be a potential leader, again, Guys, it's sorry to say, the world has no apology for you. So, women these days, people, you poor woman. Oh, how dare you? Oh, he just got you pregnant and left you. How dare he? Women will get like that kind of empathy all day long. Men, you will not. Okay, just be real. The world does not care about you. The world does not care even if you were a guy that's like, well, we both decided to have a kid, and then she started tripping, so I left, or she decided to leave me, and blah blah blah. There's still a kid here that was born out of wedlock. That is still ultimately her fault, but you had a big responsibility to bear for that. All right. So the easiest way to get rid of that responsibility altogether is to wear protection or do like I did, get a vasectomy. Then you ain't got to worry about it at all. Very simple. All right, guys? So I just wanted to give that little 2 cents talk about, the responsibility that guys bear in this whole situation. And again, I get really pissed off when women say things like, oh, well, that guy, he should have known better, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, chick, you should have known not to let the dude in you. Like, just because you assume you're going to be together, again, no ring, no paperwork, stop making assumptions, ladies. Get the stuff signed and get the wedding and all that stuff before you decide to let the... It's funny, I just thought about this family today because, in today's culture, there's a lot of music out there that's, basically pushing the agenda of, free-for-all hookups and do whatever you want to and, don't wear protection, wear this, blah, blah, blah. And I thought about the fact that two of the biggest rappers responsible for that part of the culture are Cardi B and Nicki Minaj. And for all the talk that they have had about, twerking in the club, I've done X amount of guys, blah, 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 blah. Both of those chicks got married before they got pregnant. Just saying, something to think about, all right? Anyway, that's all I got for today's show, guys. Be sure to check out more of these shows at introvertdatingsuccess.com. By the way, guys, on November 1st, I'm going to be launching the Introvert Dating Success Academy membership website. This is going to be pretty much like the Netflix of dating advice. So if you're having problems trying to figure out how to date online or trying to figure out, what to do to pick up women at parties or the kind of first date you should take them on or how to negotiate your way into a relationship that's going to last a long time, how to modify your mindset, all these other things, it's going to be literally a website that has a slew of audios, videos, and PDFs that you can check out at any time if you're trying to get help with a specific part of the dating process, okay? It's going to be a small monthly fee that you pay to have access to all this stuff, and it's launching on November 1st for a week. So if you want to get more notices about that, go to the website introvertdatingsuccess.com and sign up for the waitlist, all right? Thanks for watching the show. Go to the website and sign up for the waitlist right now. And also, if you want to get some one-on-one coaching, you can click on the coaching tab at the website. I'm HarryWilmington, and I'll catch you guys on the next podcast. I'm out. Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Introvert Dating Success Podcast. Visit us at introvertdatingsuccess.com for more great tips on attracting women using your natural introvert charm.